Hello again, this is Claire Jane Pamisa, a student of College of Education Graduate Studies from the Bukidnon State University. This time, I'll be discussing Merrill's instructional design. Dr. David Merrill is the person behind Merrill's design. Design instruction provides opportunities for learners to use new knowledge or skills by applying it to a task or problem. Another focus of design is that students reflect on and discuss what they have learned in order to revise, synthesize, recombine, and modify their new knowledge or skills. Merrill's principle of instruction includes demonstrations and support in order to gradually build knowledge and experience. The figure shown illustrates Dr. Merrill's 5 principles that facilitates learning, which follows: engagement in real-world problems, activation of prior experience, demonstration of skills, application of skills, and integration of these skills into real-world activities. And now, let us talk about these principles in a more deeper manner. Shown in this figure is another illustration of Dr. Miller's principle of instruction in an inverted triangle, which basically means that the process starts with the bigger path following 5 steps. The first principle is problem-centered. Learning is promoted when learners are engaged in solving real-world problems. Problem-centered learning supports constructivist theories. Learners construct their own understanding by building on their previous knowledge and experiences. Also, learning is best when there is a series of problems to solve and when teaching is gradually withdrawn for each succeeding problem. In the problem-centered stage, problems should be authentic, real-world, and, if possible, personal, showing learners a task or problem they will be able to solve. Problems may include simulation or situations that provide learners with contextualized, authentic learning experiences, allowing them to draw on existing knowledge to understand the problem. During this process, learners develop a deeper understanding of key concepts while strengthening problem-solving skills such as analytical thinking, initiative, and creativity. Take note that some of the problems that the students must learn to solve are very complex. A single problem is good enough. To master a complex problem, students must first start with a less complex problem. Learning is best when there is a progression of problems to solve and when the problems start easy and then get harder and harder. There are 3 phases of problem-centered learning. First is to show tasks, second, task level, and third is problem progression. In show task, provide a work example of the task that learners will complete. In task level, ensure learners are engaged at the problem and task levels, as well as the operation or action level. While in the problem progression, begin with a basic problem, then build the complexity to scaffold learning. The second principle in Merrill's design is activation, wherein learning is promoted when existing knowledge is activated as a foundation for new knowledge. This activity can be used to help direct students to the yet-to-be-learned new material and thus result in more efficient instruction. Here are the things that you need to consider in the activation stage. Identify where the learners are at before introducing new content to help them link and meld the old with the new. Revise and activate, so scaffolding. Provide relevant experiences. If learners don't have relevant experiences, provide them to ensure that they have a basic understanding of the topic before introducing complex concepts. Let learners recall, relate, describe, or apply knowledge from relevant experiences that can be used as a foundation for the new knowledge. Start where the child is. If students have a relevant experience, then the first phase of learning is to be sure that there is relevant information activated and ready for use as a foundation for the new knowledge. If not, then provide a 3-dimensional experience that they can use. And lastly, activate mental knowledge. It is activating those mental models that can be modified or tuned to enable learners to incorporate the new knowledge into their existing knowledge. There are 3 phases in the activation. First, previous experience, second, new experience, and third is the structure. In the previous experience, tap into learners' existing knowledge and experiences, while in new experience, ensure tasks are engaging, interesting, and authentic. And lastly, in the structure, begin with a basic problem, then build the complexity to scaffold learning. The third principle of instruction in the Merrill's design is demonstration. Learning is promoted when new knowledge is demonstrated to the learner. Demonstrations allow learners to identify areas of improvement. For instance, skills they may need to develop to improve task proficiency. Here are the things that you need to consider to be successful in the demonstration principle. Facilitated learning. When learners are provided with appropriate guidance, including directed relevant information, multiple representations, and comparison of demonstration, learning is very successful. Learning is promoted when the instruction demonstrates what is to be learned rather than merely telling information about what is to be learned. Another, learning is facilitated when the demonstration is consistent with the learning goal. Present multiple examples. When delivering content, incorporate multiple demonstrations of the concepts to provide context and deepen learners' understanding of its application. Remember, multiple examples allow learners to compare different perspectives. Use media that supports effective learning. Some forms of media may compete for learners' attention, so be very careful in choosing your backgrounds and your audio that is relevant to the summary of the graphics. And then, engagement with learning is a king here. Online learners can absorb the information more effectively when they see a prime example. So for example, a visual demo of the task that outlines each steps and explores associated behaviors and skills. Here are the three phases of demonstration: demonstration consistency, learner guidance, and relevant media. In the demonstration consistency, provide content with demonstration and examples that reflect the learning outcomes. In the learner's guidance, provide multiple representations of ideas, concepts, and perspectives. In relevant media, make sure or ensure that media supports effective learning. The fourth principle of instruction in the Merrill's design is the application or let me. Learning is promoted when new knowledge is applied by the learner. In this phase, the learner is the center or the focus of the learning environment. Consider these things in the application principle. Application of knowledge to real-world context is a vital part of effective learning. Another is consistency of learning outcome. Ensure the opportunities for learners to practice skills that are consistent with the learning outcomes. And then, build learner confidence by initially providing guidance and then gradually reducing support, allowing the learners to take change and complete tasks independently. And lastly, provide multiple opportunities to apply learning to a range of situations to consolidate learning. Here are the three phases of application: practice, consistency, diminishing coaching, and varied problems. In practice consistency, align practice activities with learning outcomes. In diminishing coaching, gradually withdraw coaching to build learners' independence, while in varied problems, provide opportunities for learners to apply their learning to different contexts. The fifth principle in Merrill's instructional design is integration. Learning is promoted when new knowledge is integrated into the learner's world. Now take note on recognizing the student's progress. Learners are motivated when they recognize their own progress. This can occur when demonstrating or sharing their knowledge and skills to others, reflecting on their learning and transferring new meaning and understanding to their own lives. Students must be encouraged and motivated to practice the lessons they have learned. Here are the three phases of the principle of integration: Watch Me, Reflection, and Creation. In Watch Me, provide opportunities for learners to demonstrate and share their learnings. In Reflection, include reflection activities to recognize progress. While in Creation, encourage learners to transfer their learnings to their own lives. As a summary, Merrill's principle of instruction has 5 steps. In the problem-centered, learning is promoted when learners acquire knowledge and skill in the context or real-world problems or tasks. In activation, learning is promoted when learners recall or apply existing knowledge and skill as a foundation for new skills. In demonstration, learning is promoted when learners observe a demonstration of the knowledge and skill to be learned. In application, learning is promoted when learners use their newly acquired knowledge and skill to solve new problems or carry out tasks. And lastly, but not the least, in integration, learning is promoted when learners reflect on, discuss, and defend their newly acquired skill or integrated the skill into a new real-world activity. This ends my task for today. Thank you so much for listening. Again, this is Claire Pamisa from the College of Education Graduate Studies, Bukidnon State University, signing off.